Old Hollowage Cemetery sat on the outskirts of town, cloaked in a perpetual shroud of mist. Local legends claim that anyone who lingered after midnight would hear the whispers of the dead, restless souls trapped beneath the soil. Few dared to test the tale, and those who did rarely spoke of what they experienced. One cold October evening, Clara and her friends decided to prove the rumors were nothing but ghost stories. Armed with flashlights, a Ouija board, and courage born from youthful arrogance, they crept past the rusty iron gates. The air grew colder as they ventured deeper into the cemetery, the crescent moon casting pale light over crumbling gravestones. "This is ridiculous," Clara said, forcing a laugh. "It's just a bunch of rocks and dirt." Her friends chuckled nervously, though their eyes darted to the shadows. The wind sighed through the bare branches of the oaks, but beneath that, there was something else, a faint rustling sound like dry leaves brushing against each other. "What was that?" Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Probably a raccoon," James replied, although he didn't sound convinced. Then came the whisper. "Help me." The group froze. "Did you hear that?" James asked, his flashlight trembling in his hand. They nodded in unison, fear rooting them in place. The whisper came again, soft and pleading, carried on the breeze. "Help me, I'm trapped." Clara's heart pounding in her chest, but her curiosity overpowered her fear. She took a cautious step towards the sound, her friends reluctantly following. The whispers led them to a gravestone, its inscription worn ineligible. The ground below it looked disturbed, the soil darker and looser than the rest. "We should leave," Sarah said, gripping Clara's arm. "This isn't funny anymore." But Clara shrugged her off, kneeling by the grave. "It's just an old cemetery," she said, more to herself than anyone else. She leaned closer, placing her ear to the ground. The whisper grew louder, frantic. "Please, I'm still here." "You guys, I think someone's buried alive," Clara said, her voice shaky now. "We have to do something." James shook his head. "This is insane. No one's alive down there. It's just..." He trailed off, unable to explain what they were hearing. Clara grabbed a nearby stick and began digging, her friends watching in horrifying silence. The deeper she dug, the louder the whispers became, until they weren't whispers anymore, but anguished cries. Then her flashlight flickered and went out, plunging them into darkness. "Clara, stop!" James said, voice shaking. "Let's get out of here!" But Clara didn't listen. The ground beneath her hands shifted, softening as if the soil itself were alive. She gasped as her hands sunk into the dirt, and then she screamed. A hand, pale, bony, and reeking of decay, burst from the ground and lashed onto her wrist. Clara yanked her arm back, but the hand's grip was impossibly strong. Her friends rushed to help, grabbing her shoulders and pulling with all their might. More hands emerged, clawing their way out of the grave. They lashed into Clara's arms, her legs, her waist. The ground churned beneath her as though the earth itself wanted to swallow her whole. The whispers turned into a deafening chorus of voices. "Help me, take me, free me." "Clara, let go!" James shouted, but she couldn't break free. The hands pulled her downward, her screams piercing the night as the earth claimed her. Her friends didn't wait to see what happened next. They ran, stumbling over gravestones and roots, the whispers chasing them. When they reached the gates, the voices faded, leaving only the sound of their ragged breathing. For days, the group avoided talking about what happened, but each of them felt it, the weight of something unseen, something that had followed them home. At night, when they lay in bed, they would hear it, the faint, desperate whispers of a voice they would never forget.